Hi, I'm Dave from Mob Rules, and this is Tabletop Plus. And on this episode, we're going to turn yet another intercessor into a 10-minute...
Blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne.
What the hell was that? It's going to be an iron fist, not a chaos
Blood
burst.
for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne.
The hell?
Blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne.
Fine, we'll do a 10-minute Khorne Bloodletter. Right, so we're going to get started here. This is a 10-minute Bloodletter. It's going to be really fast. So here we have our base-coated black Bloodletter model. We are going to use for a basis of the Bloodletter, we'll use Mephiston Red, as that will take 2 coats over the main body. We are going to put Incubi Darkness on the horns and the claws. We will use Rakarth Flesh for the teeth. The hilt of the weapon will be Balthazar Gold. We'll paint the entire inside of the mouth with Screamer Pink. And when we finish the model after doing the dry brush and the cleanup, we're going to use Jokero Orange to do a dry brush over the entire model. So it'll be really simple and easy. So let's get started here with Mephiston Red, because it's going to take 2 coats. And we're going to paint the entire model. Trying, unlike in previous videos, we're going to try very, very hard not to carry over. So I'm going to use a large base brush for this because, well, that's just how I roll. And again, you know, we're thinning it down. So you get a couple dabs of water and then the Mephiston Red and mix it up together here. We'll do 2 for 2 because we're going to need a lot of paint. Alright. And then, yeah, we're just going to try to coat the entire model. Like I said, do your best to avoid the horns if you can. Just get the main torso here all the way across. Because we're doing this over a black base coat, it will dry darker, so that's good. And yeah, just go to town on him. And I'm already failing miserably at avoiding stuff, so that's okay because we will be coating it with other things. I'm also going to paint the fins red. You can paint them, I've seen many different ways, the different colors, but I'm going to go with a faded red. Now I'm also going to do a thin thin coat of red. I'm going to thin it down and do just kind of a wash coat over the black of the blade because that's how I want it to look. It's kind of bloody. And yeah, so get to painting here. 2 thin coats over the entire skin level of the model. Hands, head, neck, everything. So do your best, and I'll see you back here as soon as it's dry. Remember, 2 coats will be needed for this. Alright, see you back here in just a little bit. It's already starting to look like good stuff. Good stuff. Right, so as I said, we would be painting the rest of it. You can see here the red is a good solid coat all the way over. Now if you missed a couple spots, that's okay because having the darkness of the skin is still an effect that you actually kind of want to go for. So like I said, we're going to go ahead and do Incubi Darkness for the horns, Rakarth Flesh for the teeth, which, let's see if you can see, there's some teeth there. So Rakarth Flesh for the teeth, Screamer Pink for the big old tongue there, and then well, I was going to do Gehenna's Gold, but I can't find it, so I'm going to do Balthazar Gold for the hilt of the weapon. including the pommel, I think. Just kind of do the whole thing in one coat there. And then, yeah, so Incubi for claws and horns. Rekarth for teeth. Screamer for mouth. And I've got some eyes, so I'll probably do the Rekarth on the eyes. And sort out what I'm going to do with that afterwards. So just get to painting. If you're keeping tabs, you're probably at about 1:30 right now for the 2 coats of paint onto of red. So that's pretty good if you're working on a whole squad. All right, so let me get to that, and I will be back with you in a little bit. So hopefully by now you have reached this stage. If you look at them, you'll see that got a pink tongue, some off-white teeth, some horns, claws, silver for the hilt there. And now I also did, when I was painting the red, a light, super light glaze of red on the blade, which kind of is giving it just a little red hint. And then also there's a red splotch because I'm terrible at painting. So yes, so there you go. This is what we're looking at. The next step is going to be to just take Agrax Earthshade and liberally coat the bejesus out of this. It's just going to be super simple. Get in the brush, get in the brush. So you load it up and you just kind of go to town. Coat the whole thing. Horns, head, sword, everything. If you don't have Agrax, you can use Null. It's up to you what you choose to do. And then, you know, and just in like past, anytime you get to a spot where you kind of got too much paint pooling, you just kind of dab it out like the eye sockets here, you know, because we did that on that. You just want a little bit around them. You don't want it to be too pooled. So there you go. So continue getting your coat on this guy, on your guys, and yeah, coat the entire model with a nice liberal coat. And whatever you do, don't miss the underside of the head. That's a big no-no. Same thing goes for the back of the knees. Those are serious spaces that you really just want to get it in there. So take care of that. I will see you back in just a little bit. Don't forget, washes take about 35 to 40 minutes to dry, so it's going to be a little bit. And if you're working on 10 or so, it'll work out really well. Alright, so your Agrax has dried, and hopefully he's looking something like this. Now should be really deeply recessed in there. And so now the next step is doing our cleanup, which, taking all the same colors that we have, mixing them with water, making them nice and thin just like we did. Taking your next brush here, and we'll just do, so we got him here. We're gonna start with the Screamer Pink, using the exact same colors, so nothing changes. And you're just gonna go ahead and hit the fronts and the upper areas. And what it'll do is it will give you a fade to it to make it really easy. And like in the case of the tongue, there's a couple ridges and stuff you can kind of do just to give it just a little bit more color back. Take the dark out of it that the Agrax left behind. And you just kind of do it again, a little bit lower. And all it's doing is every time you do it, it's just building up more and more color. So if you look at the tongue there, it kind of goes from red out. So, and then, you know, do the same thing with all of the colors, except I'm really happy with the way the gold currently looks, so I'm not going to do it with the gold. I'm just going to do it with the red. And also the wreck hearth for the flesh. And the teeth, because the teeth kind of got muddled up in there. Also the dot on the eye. So just kind of go back in there with the that. Hit the eye. Suddenly, all of a sudden, it's glowing. Bright. Same thing with this one. Also, you probably noticed that I've switched to over to using the handle because I'm getting more fine detail stuff. Yeah, I like using the handle. It gives me just that extra bit more control. And then, yeah, just kind of pick back out the teeth a little bit so they stand out. And you know what, I'm not quite sure, but I think there's a little bit down here on the lower jaw, but you know, if you don't do anything with that, it's not a big deal. So right, teeth and eyeballs. Get the red, do the same thing with the red. Now you can switch colors and go with a highlighter, a lighter color if you want. For the sake of this, I just kind of like doing the same color because it's really easy. I've already got the colors out. You don't have to worry about over coloring something. So we're just, the only thing we're not doing is areas where there are kind of ribs, the ridges here. We're going to leave those dark because I got something else scheduled. And then so we're going to just kind of come across the top here nice and easy. Now, when you're doing this, make sure, of course, that your paint is really thin down so you're not leaving a giant streaky mess. And yeah, just kind of pick out the areas that you think should be less dark, if you will. And it shouldn't take you very long. I mean, areas that should be are, I mean, if you've ever watched just about any other painting tutorial, they'll tell you that muscles and, you know, that just kind of cruise on through and build up a little bit more color on the important areas, because there are some areas that should be, some areas that definitely should be brighter than others. And as you go along, you'll learn what areas you think should be brighter and what areas should not. So, and you can just build up as you go, little bits here and there. Remember, this is for, you know, cranking out squads as fast as possible. It's not for winning golden demons or impressing the likes of some of the Games Workshop people. You know, it's just for getting some good looking models on the table. So basically just kind of hit your dude a little bit here and there and come away when you're happy with it. And when you are, stop. All told right now, including the time of Agrax, I'm sitting at about 7 minutes on this model. So if I spend 3 more minutes on this, then I'll be right where I want to be for a 10-minute model. Otherwise, if you're happy, stop at any time. Don't continue along and overdo something that's not going to make you happy. So just a little bit of highlights, which is all I'm going to do for this, because the next step is a very simple yellow dry brush, very, very light of Averland Sunset, and then we're going to be done. The one thing that I would definitely recommend trying to highlight up if you can, no matter what, is the Khorne symbol that's emblazoned in most of their heads. It is right here. So if we do a nice fine point to bring that out, it will really pop. So it's just some simple lines, because you really want that to pop. And so spend a little bit of time putting some extra colors onto that. Ridges on the head, kind of the fade into the horn here. Maybe creep out onto the horn just a little bit. Again, all up to you. Yeah, I think that's starting to look pretty good. So, there you go. Do that, and we will come back. Save yourself about 30 seconds is what the dry brush is going to take, and then you'll be done. Time for the last step. Right now, we are sitting here, and we look about like this. I'm actually really happy with the way he looks. I went and did... I put some Incubi Darkness on the blade. It doesn't really show up very well, but the light glaze wash that I did on the edges kind of gives it a nice little bloody glow to it. So let's go ahead and do this final step, which is to dry brush Jacaro Orange. Dry brushing is when you take the paint and you get it nicely woven down into your bristles there. Jacaro Orange is a nice complement color to this. So you bat it down in there, and then you just kind of take it and work it out so that you're just kind of leaving just a little bit. And then you're just going to dry brush the entire model. Okay? Simple, easy stuff. And so it'll catch on all your raised areas, giving you a nice kind of red orange glowy effect, especially on all the hives and these spines that you worked really hard on. So just kind of do that nice and light. Model looks pretty good. I'm going to base him and get a picture of him, and we'll call it good. Alright, well, I've been Dave from Mob Rules, and this has been Tabletop Plus. Have a great day. Make sure to get the butt. Nobody wants an undry brushed butt, I guess. I don't know. You know what? Not funny. It's been a long weekend.